Now to the background of the program. The program Bantuan Banjir Keluarga Malaysia 2022 allocated over 2.03 billion according to the Minister of Finance for Malaysian families. This includes monetary aid, 0% financing and the voucher to repair the damaged vehicle. The 1.4 billion Malaysia Family Flood Assistance would ensure a flood victim will receive the complete, effective and comprehensive aid. Former Prime Minister claimed the government has improved Bantuan Wang Ehsan (BWI) as a part of this initiative.
Flood is the most frequent type of natural disaster occurs in Malaysia every year. Flooding not only results in damaged property and ruined infrastructure, but it also has a negative social impact on the affected individuals. Therefore, the government has taken an immediate action by establishing the Bantuan Banjir Keluarga Malaysia (BBKM) program in order to lessen the burden of the flood victims. Through this, the government will help the floods victim by providing them with cash aids and other financing assistance, as well as the basic needs assistance provision. Several initiatives are given, which include Bantuan Wang Ehsan, purchase of necessary goods assistance, home repair assistance, electrical goods purchase rebate, electricity bill rebate, as well as vehicle repair discount, repair rebate, or new replacement of vehicle.
As for the objective of this program is to provide financial assistance to flood-affected families in Malaysia. And next is to help the affected families in the immediate aftermath of flooding by providing direct financial aid to restore the property and provide the basic necessity such as the flood clothing, medical supplies, temporary shelter, and the other essentials. And the next objective is to provide the long-term assistance to help the affected family.
Now we move to stakeholder. SEDA is one of the mechanisms from Energy and Natural Resources Ministry who involved in the BBKM as they place major roles in provide help to those Malaysian families that affected by the flood. Since the flood caused damage to the electrical and infrastructure and submerged residents in the area until it burdened the public people with losses, there is a project that is being carried out which is SAFE program. There are e-rebate non-cash up to 500 will be provided by the Malaysia government to each household, and there are about more than 80,000 households that have applied and eligible for receiving this initiative. While the National, which is a government entity that appears under the supervision of the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperative, also play important roles in ensuring that all the SME can also receive help and get benefit in order to ensure that they can keep surviving in their business. Meta has initiated the distribution of 50 million last year in BBKM in order to provide assistance to micro and informal business who have been impacted by the flood tragedy. Up to this point, 97220 entrepreneurs who fall under Tekun Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia as well as the Hawkers and Petty Traders Association have been identified as being eligible to receive the grant.
The government agencies that involved in this program are the Ministry of Finance and National Disaster Management Agency (NADMA). The MOF was responsible in announcing the budget that has been allocated under this program, which amounted to 1.4 billion ringgit. While NADMA was responsible in distributing the funds towards the victims through agencies. Under NADMA, there are two functions, which the first one is financial aid that have been managed by Unit Penyelarasan Pelaksanaan Jabatan Perdana Menteri ICU JPM. And the second function is service aid, which lie under the responsibility of Ministry of Local Government and Housing KPKT and the Ministry of Rural and Regional Development KPLB to rebuild and reconstruct the flood victims' houses.
One of the incentives in the Keluarga Malaysia is the Bantuan Banjir Keluarga Malaysia has been introduced in order to aid those who have been impacted by the recent flooding in Malaysia. Bantuan Banjir Keluarga Malaysia described this as an incentive program. Government funding of approximately RM2.03 billion has been allocated for this program under the Bantuan Banjir Keluarga Malaysia initiative. For the benefit of the Keluarga Malaysian community as a whole, the government is providing emergency aid in the form of cash grants, interest-free loans, and vouchers to have damaged car fixed.
For the benefit of the Keluarga Malaysian community as a whole, the government is providing emergency aid in the form of a cash grant, interest-free loans, and voucher to have a damaged car fixed. There are government initiatives to ease the burden of the flood victims, which are Bantuan Wang Ehsan, Bantuan Barangan Keperluan Asas, Home Repair Assistance, Electrical Goods Purchase Rebate, 100% electricity bill rebate for the month of December, Vehicle Repair Discount, Repair Rebate or new replacement of vehicle. These initiatives are aimed at easing the burden of the people involved in the flood disaster that hit the country. The initiative focused on the flood victim, particularly flash flood victim in the Klang and Shah Alam that affected by flash flooding due to heavy rainfall. The government ability to provide funding for solution is sources of the strength. Obtain funding from NGO and government for a facility and aid provide to flood victim under Malaysian Family Flood Assistance Program. Next, the weakness of this program is the lack of interaction between government and public. Is the causes of the slow flow of information channel which is in Kampung Melayu Subang, Taman Kemuning and Taman Sri Muda. The agency involved take too long to give information to the public. Besides that, the Malaysian government has used the opportunity to help those affected by the recent flood by offering cash aid and initiative through the Malaysian Family Flood Disaster Relief Program. This is because those who lose so much money and process in the flood are still reeling from the tragedy. Lastly, the threat to Malaysian flood relief program is climate change. Therefore, the government needs to be alert and ready to face the climate change. The program will have trouble working because the situation is keep changing.
The strategic choice, the government has come out with the Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia as one of their initiative programs that is needed to apply in the best strategic choice to achieve the goals and the objective of the programs. The first one is integration strategy. Collaboration between the government institutions and the non-governmental organizations is needed to deliver the Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia to the flood victims. This could entail transporting and distributing aid materials, communicating with the affected family about the available options, and working with the local community organizations to identify families in need. The Department of Social Welfare gather flood victims statistics (JKM), coordinating flood victims data with the other ministry can help address annual flood tragedies. And the second strategic choice is diversification strategy. This strategy involves offering multiple shots of the assistance to the affected household. This helps the program meet the particular needs of the flood-affected families and the communities. Diversification strategy ensures that impacted families receive the assistance they need to recover from flood damage and return to regular life as soon as possible.
First challenges is delay in fund distribution due to rigid process. As a result of the significant number of flood victims in several states, there was a short delay as the process of distribution the fund was too rigid. According to our previous Prime Minister, the funding for flood relief should not take too much time to disperse to the communities that have been impacted. Nevertheless, because it involves government money, which is subject to audits and other procedures, there are certain details that the government need in order to be able to move forward with the dispersing the funds.
Aside from that, the program's challenges also can be seen when the aid that comes to the victims was not being effective and efficiently being distributed due to the government's slow response, proving that there were lack of communication between the government agencies. This issue also occurs because the responsible body did not receive enough authority, which has put a limitation for them to fulfill their tasks. Last but not least, due to climate change, this program of flood funds could be triggered because the planning and estimation that have been aligned through this program may not be suitable enough to meet with the needs that have been faced by the victims. The problem also could trigger as this environmental issue cannot be predicted and it can also affect this program's effectiveness.
One of the recommendations to overcome the challenges is by reducing the likelihood of sending money to the incorrect recipient or to individuals who are ineligible to receive it. This is because certain parties are attempting to profit even though they are not flood victims. Therefore, this procedure requires time to verify that relief reaches victims. Not only that, the other recommendation is the local government collaborate with local people or community leaders. The village head or other local leaders need to do their job by giving them information and making quick decisions so that they can act quickly when floods happen. The information must be accessible for everyone, whether they live in a city or a small town. The development of a flood forecasting and warning system is one of the ideas that have been made as an important, realistic and low-cost step to limit the losses caused by floods. Is one of the recommendations to overcome the challenges. This is a statement that is made due to the fact that climate change is something that cannot be predicted, and as a result, the government and the people should take early action to prepare for it, such as making early projection.
In conclusion, flooding has a number of immediate effects, including the loss of life, destruction of property, loss of crops and livestock, and worsen the health conditions. Some economic operations also may be terminated, individuals may be forced to leave their homes, and their regular life may be disturbed. Therefore, through the BBCAM program, it will greatly help in reducing the burden of the affected victims, in which it can help them to sufficiently survive through the flood disaster.